Thank you for listening to the Tattness podcast on the Tattness Co. Network.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A Mercedes kind of sentiment, luxury, and trust in me to honor the free we all should be. It sees my sundial burst into yin and yang, right and left, me and you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Tattness podcast. First and foremost, for all my listeners and my fans, I just want to apologize for my unannounced disappearance for a little while there after Halloween. It was not planned, that's the thing. Some business came up. I was supposed to switch over to a live format, as many of you know, but business changes every day. And the people that I was going to associate with that were making that business transition happen, basically I've parted ways with. Long story, I'll get into it on another show of its own, and we'll talk about that because I keep my fans in the loop on what's going on with me. For now, I'll just say long story short, it wasn't a lucrative deal for me. Everybody was benefiting but me, trying to benefit off my work. Everybody was getting credit for work that they had nothing to do with. And as all of you know, I am the last person to keep my mouth shut and not speak out and put a stop to shit like that. So that's not going to happen. Not on my watch. I could go live on my own. I don't need anybody doing anything for me and taking credit on... I don't know if you follow my IMDb, but people were trying to, get undue credit for 2 seasons worth of shows that they had nothing to do with, never even listened to it, let alone worked on it. And I called them out. And we parted ways. And that's that. So I don't do business with those people anymore. Probably never will. It's just the way it's got to be sometimes. And I'm also currently working on a film, so there's that. So I've been busy, and, now that I got all that sorted, it was just a matter of kind of, burnt out a little bit, had to come back. I mean, you guys know I was doing like 3 shows a day at one point and releasing them all for you. So, sometimes you get a little burnt out and life happens and you got to take a step back and kind of deal with other business. So, that's what it is. Anyways, didn't mean to bore y'all with all that. I just wanted to let you know I've been gone for a couple weeks, and that's why. And I'm back now. I wanted to give a shout out to all my listeners, but I definitely want to get a special shout out to Dublin, Ireland listeners, because you guys are so great and you treat me like family. You treat your boy like he's one of y'all. Family, you're so good to me. Love y'all. Thank you for the undying support. I see that in my analytics. Dublin, Ireland listeners, keep going and downloading some of the older stuff and checking out things while they wait for me to come back patiently. I appreciate y'all, man. This show is going to be a bit on the longer side because we just kind of got to talking, and it abruptly ends. Jesus, I can't speak. It abruptly ends pretty quick. Just because we kind of went over, quite a bit and didn't want to start to trail off and bore people. But my guest is actually pretty awesome. He's a retired chopper pilot, and, now he got into acting, which is cool. And he was on Law and Order and a bunch of other things. Steve Hamm, very cool guy. We became immediate friends, and just a badass in my view. Very humble, doesn't like to accept that he's a badass, but he is. And you'll hear in the conversation, man, we have such a mutual respect for each other and the same mindset when it comes to business. So check him out. All right, so now that we got, all that stuff we seem to have in common out of the way.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned MMA. It's kind of something I've silently geared myself out of a little bit. Because you can only get punched in the head so many times before,
Right.
It could be a problem.
Yeah.
So now I've been pitched the opportunity to get into acting. So I was like, oh,
Really? Good for you.
I was on Jimmy Starr's show.
Yeah.
And he says, you're 6'5", 265. Why in the hell are you not the next Jason Voorhees or Myers or something, in a horror movie?
Yeah.
And it was like, because nobody asked, dude. Just that simple.
Good answer.
And so, of course, immediately that led to, would you be interested in being in movies like that? And I was like, yeah. So it's like, we're gonna make it happen. And
now all of a sudden it snowballed where I've been cast into something that's coming up as a lead.
Okay.
I've been asked to do a screenplay, write my own for a movie that I thought would be cool. And so now I'm working on that. I've got credits already for other things now. And it's like, man, IMDb and all that great, shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
man, it's just snowballing. And it's like, well, this could be a new path, man. This sounds like fun.
Yeah.
You've obviously got experience and you must enjoy it, or
I do. I mean, there are, I think like every actor does, they go through times where, you either start doubting yourself or, and I think a lot of times, especially with social media, when you're on Facebook, like 3/4 of my friends are fellow actors or someone in the entertainment industry. And, the thing is, no one posts about the roles they didn't get or anything that bad happened to them. So all you see is the good stuff. So after a while, all you start seeing is your friends who are, I just got booked for this, or I got booked for that, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, okay, where's my turn? Where's my chance? And it just, self-doubt comes in. It's like, am I really not good enough, or what's going on? And, all this other negative stuff comes in. But I guess you just have to like sit back and go, okay, look, you are you. So once you own who you are and what your brand is, then you can just, say, look, when my time comes, it comes. You can only put in so much work, so much training, so many auditions. At some point, it's gonna break out for you. You just have to stay the course. It's the stand marathon that everyone talks about. And yeah, I started in 2013, and I've got a handful of credits to my name. The only tough thing right now is being in Ohio, the whole pandemic going on, travel restrictions and all this other kind of stuff. So unfortunately, for me to try to go to New York would be not impossible to get there, but whatever, COVID, rules they have in place or this or that, plus, being available for it. Of course, LA is that's totally different ball game right there. It's a huge ass flight for me, several hours trying to get to somewhere. And so the opportunity for that is just, unfortunately, the pandemic's just got dried up a little bit as far as anyone who's not near those areas. So, but other than that, yeah, it's fun. I think there's a thrill of the audition. There's a thrill of, trying to play a role, being on set, and being with other cast members who have the same drive that you do, the same passion that you do, so it's just a matter of time. But yeah, no, it's fun. Obviously, if it wasn't, I wouldn't still be doing it. So, but luckily I have other things to kind of fall back on right now, other than just acting, with my day job and stuff. So, but good for you on what you have in the pipeline. That's always good stuff.
oh, thanks, man. I love that you said that. I appreciate that feeling, because for me, I'm just getting into it, and COVID has kind of shut down a lot of opportunity. So it's that, you get cast into something or you get pitched something, you're so gung-ho to do it, but you got to wait, So, because,
Yeah.
being in Canada, especially where we've got our borders closed till at least the 22nd of this month. And then from there, we'll see. So it's like, there's not a lot you can do
Right.
Until further notice. So it's like,
Yeah.
you get all this opportunity.
Yeah.
However, as anxious as you are to like just get going, you're all gung-ho to do it. It's like, but we're talking
Oh, yeah.
21 potentially.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I understand that struggle.
Oh God. Yeah, I think now, since with the pandemic, self-tape auditions are, taking the place of being in person, but I think those are also going to start being the norm as well, at least for the initial rounds or anything like that. So, which, is a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing is that, okay, you don't have the pressure of going into a room and it's being in front of a bunch of people you don't know, and the pressure of like, okay, am I going to do this right the first time? Am I going to have my lines down, or am I going to forget them, or whatever the case? But the other downside of that is that it gives you the opportunity, though, that you're going to do so many takes because you're not going to think that the last one was right, or I can get this next one perfect. This next one will be better. You can end up doing like 20 takes. Well, at some point, you're going to probably go past perfection. It's just going to sound horrible. So, you can look on anywhere on YouTube or wherever, and they'll tell you, just do 3 takes, pick the best out of the 3, submit it. because auditions always just raw footage. Do you have the look they want? And whatever else. If you don't have all your lines memorized, that's okay, as long as you kind of got maybe most of them memorized. So yeah, self-tape's gonna be the way to go for a while, I think. But yeah, with the restrictions, it's crazy. And so now I think a lot of voiceover work is also the way to go. So I started dabbling in that a few years ago as well, and broke down and brought my own recording mic, got my own recording software, which I'll tell you right now was a pain in the ass to learn to use, and I'm still learning to use it to this day. It can do so much, but it's like some of the stuff that's there is almost like studio level stuff that I will never ever use. So, but I mean, I'm in the process now of trying to get an audiobook edited, which is taking, unfortunately, way too long. But it just you have to find the information to, I guess, to learn how to edit properly, because it's not something that the tutorials in the program, I think, teach you properly. So luckily, through some research, I did find some stuff, and but it just kind of dragged on longer than necessary. But other than that, I think voiceover work is definitely another way to go to stay in the game.
Yeah, it's very popular right now. And to your point with the whole video auditioning and things like that, you're absolutely right. It's a double-edged sword in my view, because on the plus side, it opens more doors, but on the other side of that coin, it opens more doors, which means more competition that may not have been able to travel to the audition, but now they don't have to. So now
Right.
everyone can make it, and now you got
Yeah.
more people to contend with, and
Yeah, that's true to a point. Although I have watched some videos from some casting directors, and they say that the downfall to it, though, is that some people, they get lazy. They don't turn stuff in on time, or they don't follow all the directions that the casting call, the instructions that were there. So that'll cut through a lot of the people that don't qualify, because if you can't follow the simple instructions on a casting call, you're going to be able to take redirection and do the stuff you need to do if you get cast. So there's some downfalls to it. But yeah, like you said, there's opened up a whole lot of things for a whole lot of other people, that's for sure. But you just got to still put in the work and do it. I mean, that's the whole thing. So it depends how bad you want it.
I feel like that's extremely common too, that people don't follow instructions whatsoever.
Oh my God, I'll tell you right now. I sat in on I'm sure you've heard of the company called Backstage. You familiar with them?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I sat in on a video chat that they had with a New York actress or producer. I forget her name, but and I was reading through some of the chat comments that people were putting in there, and I'm just telling you, some of the questions people were asking, I'm just like, are you seriously asking that question? I mean, that was just answered a couple minutes ago. And maybe people like just hearing themselves, right or whatever. I'm not sure, but yeah, some people have a hard time following simple directions, and that, to me, that's the difference between just being your average actor and being the professional that is up to the task or challenge at hand.
Absolutely. That reminds me of when I was going into the military and I had to do the aptitude test and to qualify for the trades that I wanted. And it was really brutal because there was a group of us, and we were told before going into the room to do the test, the rules are simple. When you're done, any scrap pieces of paper that were given to you to write out your work and figure stuff out, they get handed in where they shred it. Nothing leaves the room. And when you leave the room, nobody discusses the test whatsoever. Now,
Yeah.
we come out of the room and we sit back in the waiting room right next to the desk. And I'm sitting there with stone face, not saying a word, while they're all sitting there discussing their answers with each other. And my ex, who I was with at the time, said to me, "What's wrong? You pissed off? Like, you look mad. What's wrong?" I said, "Oh, nothing." I said, "We'll talk later." Because I wasn't going to be mixed in because having a conversation, I was literally the only person that was not sitting there discussing the test after, like right in front of the front desk. Like they told you, it was like high school. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, it was like, wow, you guys don't even care. Like the military is not the place to not be following instructions.
No, that's true. And I think the whole attention to detail thing, it's very important. not to kind of, I guess, steer this in the wrong, in a different sort of way, but there's a video given by this admiral. He's a 4-star admiral that he was like in charge of like the Navy SEALs or whatever it was, and it's called "Making Your Bed." I'm not sure if you ever heard of it or seen it, but he's addressing a class of graduating Navy SEAls, and that's tough training. So kudos out goes to whoever's going through that training. Trust me. But part of what he says is that if you can't handle the small tasks in your life, then what makes you think you'll be able to handle the big ones when they come along? And that really resonated with me too. So when I went through flight training in the military, the warrant officer course basically, their whole big thing was attention to detail, because they're like, if you're going to be flying any kind of aircraft, you got to follow a checklist. You got to be able to pay attention to small details, or the big things could kill you, which is so true. So I took that to heart, and I think I do appreciate the training that course gave me, as far as the way you just approach life in general. It's always the small things that some people are like, that's not a big deal. Well, to me, that is a big deal. So.
Oh, absolutely. All those small things are what make up the bigger picture. You know what I mean? And if all those small things are at a place, then nothing goes right.
No.
And that kind of attention to detail is a difference maker between someone that's successful and somebody who just falls short. It goes for anything. If somebody is going to give you an opportunity, they're going to give it to the person who pays attention to detail and notices all the small things and is a perfectionist in that sense.
I would hope so. Yeah, you would hope so.
Yeah, sometimes not so much, unfortunately. Sometimes it's a matter of who you know. For the most part, you're going to get better work done from the person that actually cares enough to think of everything.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. You can always tell working with the true professionals, who take care to know their craft or whatever their profession is, and you have to admire and respect that. It just makes for a better overall, process, basically.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny, acting wasn't something that was originally on my radar of things to do. It just kind of got pitched to me, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm a huge art guy. Like, I love doing art. It's like therapy to me. Between the gym, that's one therapy. I'll spend 4 hours a day in the gym, but then if like mentally, I love just drawing something and doing like a lot of horror art and stuff like that, or nostalgia stuff. And so anything art wise, if my brain can perceive it as art, I get into it. So
nice.
And it helps me learn things. So if I can turn something that I don't really know into art in my mind, I understand it better. It's like I can convert it into something I do understand, and then I learn a lot quicker. So when it was pitched to me, I was like, just immediately it felt right. It felt like that could be fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so I thought, yeah, why not? Especially when
Sure.
you're in a position where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything. What do you have to lose? If it doesn't work out for you, then at least you experienced something new. You tried it. You had fun. And, there's no pressure there of like, oh, what if I only get typecast for this type of movie? It's like, it's not my main thing anyway. So who cares? It's like, just have fun with it. There's so many people that don't get those opportunities at all that would love it. So appreciate it, and enjoy it. So
I couldn't agree with you more.
I think it's cool, I'm looking at the bright side of with everything shut down right now, so I have to wait. It allows me to study it more and come in more prepared, and the small details, right? And figure out the things that I almost never thought of at the time, and that you got to consider and know what you're doing going into it. So business minded as well. Protect your career, basically. If you're going to do it right. And
oh yeah, God, that is so right. Yeah, I recently I've been through a couple of acting coaches, and I came across one who was recommended by my agency, and she's out of LA, and her approach is totally a little backwards than what I was expecting or thinking, and what she said made sense. She's like, the last thing I want you to do is to learn your lines. She goes, we're going to work on character analysis and scene analysis and character description or something like that. I forget exactly, but basically, read your scene, understand your scene, get to know your character. Once you understand your character, then you can kind of mentally be that character. And once you deliver your lines and everything like that, and understand that scene to like this finite point, then when you do your audition, it's going to be like second nature to you, and it'll come across that way in your performance. And I'm like, that makes total sense. And it took me a couple times to really comprehend that. But after we did a couple scenes together, it was like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. But my sides were filled with notes and stuff that we talked about. Because there's questions about this, question about that. There's questions she'd ask me that I wouldn't even think about. I'm like, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. She goes, oh yeah, the more you know about your character, the better off you are. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. So kudos to her for doing that. And but yeah, it's one of those things where it's more of a business than the entertainment or the fun part, because everyone sees all the fun stuff, but they don't see the preparation and everything else, that the research that goes into it at all. So
Absolutely. And I'm business minded first and foremost. You know what I mean? I own my own business, and so it's and it's so funny. It's amazing you say that, because that was my whole thing going into it. I even said on social media that my plan, my method of doing things was like, I want to figure out the character and be the character, become the character. And so if that means I'm taking myself into the gym and working my ass off with the character in mind and becoming the character, that to me is more important than just reading a script until you've memorized it like a parrot and then recite it back. Anyone can do that. To me, it's about, really being believable as that person. Like, you got to believe what you're saying. And
absolutely, yeah. No, that's so true, yeah.
So I think what's cool about now being asked to write a screenplay and everything is like, I'm going to be the main character as well as writing this thing. So I am drawing from my own experience, and I am making this character who I would believe them to be. And that way it's going to be natural. It's going to be like, you are that person anyway. And it's going to be something that people can relate to at the same time. And that's what's making it so easy of a transition to kind of get yourself into the mind of a character, because you're writing for the character. So it's kind of a cool experience. I get a head start in a way to learn. Not many people get to do the writing process and casting and all that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being part of the casting process. I think that'd be kind of cool, just to see other people, deliver a performance and to see who would fit best for that role. But the writing stuff, that's not for me. I want nothing to do with that at all. I don't know. That's just, that part, like, I don't say scares me, but it's just like, I want nothing to do with that at all. I'd rather direct a whole film than to write one personally. So
I agree completely, because when it was pitched to me, it was a daunting task immediately, because I said, I don't know the first damn thing about writing any of this.
Right.
And then when I saw some templates, I'm like, this makes sense to me for some reason. Like, the art side, I guess, clicked. And the movie that I've been asked to do is actually also based off a video game that, from back in the day. So it already has a bit of its own story, but I'm changing that. But it gives me something to work with. And then I just flesh it out myself, change the characters and give its own story and make it more realistic. But it does give me something to work with, which helps for the first time, especially. So there's kind of a guideline there, but it just seemed to work for me. And it's been fun, rather than I thought it was going to be like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And, like, just super daunting. And I was just like, I just get this visual at first of me flipping my desk and saying, screw this shit. But
oh yeah, I can picture that. I think there was some time I was working on an audition where I'm like thinking, man, what am I doing? This is just because, I've got my own routine or what do you call it? Way that I'm learn my lines and stuff that works for me. And it's just sometimes just like, man, I just can't get this, because it's got to be like a certain time of the day or something where my brain just works more efficiently. Other times it's like, I just can't get this, and I'm just like, whatever. But you just got to refocus. You might need to take a break or something after a while. You don't have a cup of coffee, whatever else. But so two more, I guess, acting advice tips that I have. I mean, not that I'm any expert by any means, but one is that, it's unfortunately, until you're actually on set, I never really believe that even if I'm cast for something, that's going to happen, because too many times I've seen where either funding falls through or something falls through and the project gets scrubbed. So now I kind of take it in book with a grain of salt, initially. It's like, hey, great, I got it. But until I'm actually there, then I'm not going to hold my breath. It's sad to say that, but it's kind of the reality of the business. But the other thing is that I'm sure you know Bryan Cranston, the big actor celebrity. So I've watched a couple of his interviews, and something that he has said, really stood out to me big time as far as auditions go. Of course, now he doesn't have to worry about auditioning for anything anymore, but he's like, so many people walk into this audition room and they're like given the power to the people behind the desk or behind the tables, that, hey, hope they like me, hope they blah, 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 whatever else, and that's not the case. You got to flip the table around. It's like, okay, you are given this opportunity to go into a room and present your craft the way that you have read or whatever for the scene. He's like, so, get this chip off your shoulder that you have got to get cast for this role. You've got to book this job. He says, get it out of your head. He said, you walk in there, have a conversation. If they engage, great. If not, that's fine. But go in there, be prepared, deliver your performance, the bold choice that you have made, the best way you can think about it. And when you're done, walk out and just fucking forget it. He's like, after that, it's out of your damn hands. And he says, once he adopted that mentality, then he started booking stuff like crazy, and he's been working ever since. Of course, he lives in LA, so it's easier for him to get to auditions, and all that kind of good stuff. But that really resonated with me too. So, now you just have to kind of like do this whole I don't give a shit type thing. Go in there. This is me. This is what my choice is. This is my performance, like it or not, whatever, and leave. And I think a cast director would appreciate that more, because then your performance is more real, more authentic, and you may not get cast for that, but you may get cast for something else that they're thinking about or something down the road, because you never know what's out there, what these people are thinking or doing. So that's his thing. And, I keep telling myself that, and that's something I keep reminding myself of. And you have to get to the point where I just don't care, and it's just one less thing to worry about. And I think it definitely, just makes everything, like I said, more real.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I love that, because that's the position that I'm in and the mentality that I have. Because it's like, first of all, you guys approached me to do movies, not the other way around. I have nothing to lose here. So I'm going to go into it. I'm going to show you why you picked me in the first place, why you need me. And then however that goes after that, that's on you guys. I don't give a shit. I can go back home and just relax and do whatever the hell I want. Or we could do business,
Right.
If I'm doing it, I'm doing 110%. And I'll tell you right now, you will never find someone that's going to work harder than me, because I'm a perfectionist. And if you think it's great and I think I could have done better, I'm doing it again. You know what I mean? That's just how it's going to be. I don't half-ass anything. I'm obsessed with getting it the way I see it. So, if the idea is sell your vision to them and make them see it. You know what I mean? And you can't do that if you're all nervous, like, oh, I hope that I do this well. That's bullshit.
They can see right through that. I mean, they can sense that, almost like as soon as you walk into the room, just by how you carry yourself or whatever else, and it's a mindset that you really have to develop. It does something I don't think happens overnight and everything. And once you get in that mindset, though, I think that just will open more doors for anything, and hopefully, those in power can appreciate that, and but then, of course, it's all about the whole networking thing, who all that kind of stuff too helps. So.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been very fortunate. I'm friends with so many people from the movie industry. So I have a lot of people to draw from for tips and advice and experiences. And you're absolutely right that I've heard so many stories of things that sounded like great concepts. People were really gung-ho about doing it. And then it never came out because it got shut down due to funding. So when writing this, my whole intention has been to make it story centric, so we're not relying heavily on budget, you know what I mean, and make the story the main focus. So the budget, doesn't need, we're not doing some Michael Bay shit here. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
I want the story to be, compelling enough that it doesn't require all this fancy shit. we're going to have some cool stuff, but
Yeah.
we don't need a billion people in it. We don't need, an explosion every 3 seconds and all that shit, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. Those, after a while, it gets kind of old, I think, too. But I think a good story definitely probably can tell itself better than any special effects can. And you actually don't need a whole lot of dialogue all the time either. A lot of times the silence carries farther than the voice does. And it's funny. I was driving home from I did like a fashion photo shoot in Cleveland yesterday for this calendar they're going to put out next year. So I was fortunate to get booked for that. But I was driving home, I think, here I am, got my Oakleys on because I love wearing my Oakley, shade glasses. And I'm thinking, cool movie to be in would be one where, I would be the lead. I wouldn't speak a whole lot, but my actions speak louder than anything else, and, it's one of those guys who kind of maybe likes to keep to himself, but, if he sees a problem with something or someone's having an issue that, if he needs to, he can step in and help resolve it if necessary. I mean, there was kind of like a TV show that was about it back a few years ago. I forget the name of it though. But yeah, so just things like that, where just the actions, make the audience starts to wonder, what's he thinking? What's going through his mind and stuff about what he's doing. What's he going to do next? And I think the right setting, the right music can all, set that up for you, and you don't have to say much at all.
I love that. It's really funny. I think we are so like-minded because I compared this to MMA, where my goal is no wasted movement. So nothing unnecessary. So don't make this too wordy when there doesn't need to be a ton of dialogue. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If it's not needed, let's not make it too wordy and boring and slow. Let's leave something to the imagination here where people can get into the mindset without having it explained to death, and
Yeah.
it's a movie, not a talk show. We don't need to, have like, 47 pages of one conversation or anything like that. Whereas, again, to compare it to MMA, no wasted movement. Don't waste your energy on anything unnecessary. So
Yeah.
I just convert that mindset into this, where it's like, is this line needed? Is this conversation necessary? Does it do anything for the story? If not, it's got to go. It's dead weight. And so I think we kind of, have the same train of
Good. No kidding. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Especially, I think the older you get, the more you value time. Time being money. I mean, more obviously more than money, but it's a value commodity that needs to be used wisely and stuff. So, yeah, no, that's good stuff, man. I'm telling you, I'm glad hopefully it works out for you because it's the business is very fickle, unfortunately, and I'm not sure where it's going to go once things hopefully get through this whole virus crap, and hoping next year things go a little better and stuff. But I'm interested and eager to see where things go, and I'm just gonna keep my feet in the water and hope for the best and do what I can. But it's just being in Ohio, it's very tough. And I was actually answering some questions from Jimmy's associate Eileen earlier today, and being in Ohio, it's good, but it's bad. It's good if you want to do like independent stuff and a lot of commercial stuff, which is great. But if you want to get anything bigger, you have to go into the bigger markets. And right now, that's just not in the cards for me. So, but it's just yeah, looking forward to see what happens. And hopefully, you would think I get cast with more military stuff with my background and stuff, which unfortunately it hasn't happened. So, but I mean, in a way, it kind of has. I did get booked recently it wasn't even through auditioning, just because I know this person on Facebook basically, and she's writing her own story. But I got cast as the fictional director of Central Intelligence for her story. So I'm like the head spy guy in the project. So which is actually like a civilian position that she came up with. So and I was reading the background that she put together for me, and I'm like, man, I kind of wish I did have that background. That's kind of cool, having worked for a couple of presidents, and you've done some special ops work and, other stuff that can't be discussed and this and that. I'm like, man, that sounds like an impressive guy for sure. He's the right guy for the job. So hopefully that'll kick off next year sometime and get going on that. So I'm looking forward to that. But it just I get asked a lot, I guess, what roles or type of movies am I into? And like I'm a big horror fan. I love horror stuff. Not so much all the slasher stuff like the Friday the 13th stuff anymore, but a good you know jump in your face type of scare like Insidious does and stuff like that. I mean, meaningful horror stuff, and that's what I'm into. And I'm like, I would love to be a part of that or something like that. But I think other than that, like government, thrillers or government spy stuff, that's always cool. The whodunits, and stuff. Being like a Jack Ryan type of person would be kind of cool. And like you mentioned too, the whole entire what was that? The Jason Bourne thing. I mean, that's cool shit right there, if you ask me. I mean, I'm not sure how much of that actually, can be true and stuff, but I was always intrigued by that series. I really was. I just thought that was some cool stuff. I mean, it's like the cat's got 9 lives, basically. So, but the military stuff. I mean, you have a project that needs a pilot. I mean, I'm your guy. I mean, shoot, even if I just got to be a liaison for you, I can do that. So possibilities are endless. Just I gotta find the right key for the right door.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I'm in the same boat where like I would gladly do horror stuff. I'm not into like that torture porn shit, like all that, like Hostel and crap like that. It's all just fast. That's not for me.
No.
But I do, yeah, I totally love Insidious was really good. And The Conjuring was good.
Oh yeah.
I still love Nightmare on Elm Street though. I was never a huge Friday the 13th is hit or miss with me. Again, it gets to a point of gore fest, and it's just like, it's all right. Halloween I thought was really good. I love that.
Yeah.
Especially the first one, how subtle it was. There was no blood.
Right. Yeah.
And a lot of, like you said, the jump scare and suspenseful shit, which is cool. It was so different. So, I anticipate getting asked to do a lot of the horror stuff. So I'm fully aware I'm never going to win any awards with that. And that's fine. That's not the goal.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm totally open to do the same stuff that you're interested in. With Jimmy asked me, what about action movies and stuff? You like those? I'm like, hell yeah, who doesn't? You know what I mean?
Right.
Pitch me anything Schwarzenegger or Die Hard or something, and I'm like all about it. So stuff like that is super cool, and I would totally be open to do that. And for your background and everything, that sounds like the perfect spot for you to do cool shit like that.
Man, I tell you, I got a pretty packed resume, with stuff. It's just a matter of, people in the industry, hearing about it, learning about it, or finding out about it, and I can only, network, so much from here. I mean, obviously, there's Twitter and all that good stuff, Facebook and whatnot, but, you just got to keep putting yourself out there. But like I said previously, it's not, I'm not going to beg for a role. It's gonna be like, it's got to be something that, hey, you need someone that can fit that bill. I mean, I could be your guy, and if you interview me and you like what you hear and see, then great. If not, well, then obviously you can find someone else. But if you want something authentic, then I can pull that off for you. So, but there was I was watching. What's her name? Charlize Theron did a movie recently, or a Netflix special, or a Netflix movie. I'm not sure if you had heard or seen it. She was with like a bunch of other guys, and it was a big martial arts type of film. She played this character where she'd been around for hundreds of years fighting different battles. And I forget the name of it. It'll come to me eventually, I think. But when I watched some behind the scenes of it, they literally had one scene where I think they went through like 10 or 15 different style of martial arts for her to learn. And these scenes were just like incredibly choreographed. I mean, they were flawless. I was like really impressed. I mean, she looked like she'd been doing this shit for years. Wow. I was like, wow. Yeah, I mean, it was like days and days of like 8 hours of training just over and over again to make it look real. I'm like, that's impressive, So kudos off to her for accomplishing that. But it's always cool when you just see the actors that can do it really well. I mean, even like Denzel with Equalizer. I mean, that was some good shit there too. I mean,
I love that.
God, I could watch that over and over again. I'm like, just having that knowledge and confidence. You walk in the room, it's like, all right, whatever's available, you guys are going down. No matter what you do, you're going down. Just I may get hurt a little bit, but you're going down. I'm like, that is the shit, you know?
I just
God.
I just watched the second one twice in a week. You know, it was so damn good.
I think I like the first one better. I know the storyline for the second one kind of escaped me a little bit, but I think the first one, you know, just yeah, I mean, just it was just really impressive, you know, and it makes you wonder that those people that do have that kind of training, you know, that if you let them out into the world, you know, and they go rogue, you know, the kind of havoc they can cause, you know, because of the training that they have. That's some scary shit too.
Absolutely.
You know, so God, but
When someone can do damage with a credit card, I mean, you know, without, you know, it being the bill.
right, yeah, yeah, but you know, I think just watching him in some of the scenes where, you know, he didn't back down from anything or anybody. He was just like, he stepped up to the plate and is like, what, you know, what you got, you know, let's do this, you know. It's like, it may go down ugly, but it's going to go down, and you know, one of us is knowing only one of us is going to come back up, you know. But he just had this, it was subtle and this calmness about him. I'm just like, that is, God, that is just awesome. I love it, you know. And he just, he did it well. I have to give him credit for that.
Yeah, that's what sold me, man, was just that there was not a single ounce of doubt in that dude's character
No.
whatsoever. He believed every bit of it. He knew already how it was going to go down before it went down. You know?
Yeah.
What I mean?
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a true professional if you take it to that level, you know. But then again, you know, you got to you know, take that kind of training, you know, seriously, and know what kind of outcomes that can be if you're not on a movie set, like we talked earlier. So, I guess, you know, I can kind of just go into this back, you know, how they go from being a military guy to an actor, which is one of the most popular questions that I get. So, for me, it was, you know, I graduated high school, and my dad actually wanted me to go to one of the service academies initially, become an officer right off the bat. And I just, you know, being a young 18-year-old kid, you're just like, yeah, you're rebellious. You're like, yeah, I don't feel like doing that, you know. So I just listened to the Army. I was like, you know, because the recruiter's like, hey, we got a good deal for you. I'm like, okay, great, sounds good. But so, you know, started off being a helicopter mechanic for about 8 years, and then being around pilots all the time, you just get that flying bug. And you know, fortunately, the Army, you know, had a flight training program, so I applied. Fortunately, got selected and started that. And it was a fun job. I mean, flying helicopters, contrary to what other people think, it's not the same as an airplane. It's not. It's two totally different things. I mean, once you're up in the air, it's kind of the same, but still, you know, there's a lot more controls to deal with. You're dealing with 3 different things at one time. You got to be able to multitask, and it's difficult. But and then once 9/11 kicked off, you know, that changed the whole landscape for everything. It was all training for combat situations, and ended up doing you know, 2 tours in Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan, and it's, you know, once you come back, you appreciate what, you know, the US of A has to offer as far as the freedoms and everything else, and you're just grateful for, you know, for what you have. And I'm like, once I got out, I was like, after 23 and a half years, I'm like, you know, that's it, I'm done. The time away takes a toll on you, and both mentally and physically, and I'm just like, okay, it's time to hang up the hat. And then I think 6 months out from retirement, I had this thought that came through my head, and all where it came from. It's like, acting sounds kind of cool. Why don't you give that a shot? I said, just out of the blue like that. And I was like, okay. So I found a acting workshop, because I was in Tennessee at the time, in Nashville. And so this guy, his name's Alan Dicer. He did an acting workshop. He does it continuously, but he used to be a full contract player on All My Children, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. And so he does these workshops where he helps local talent kind of develop their skills, and then try to ship them off to like the bigger markets where they can do great and wonderful things. And we did a weekend workshop of cold reads. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what those are or not, cold reading.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we did those, and it's like, that's when the acting bug hit me. I'm like, oh, this is just awesome. I'm here. I was on stage, you know, with someone else. We're going over a scene in a movie that I just loved. I was like, this is awesome. You know, I want to do more of this. But I was in the process of transitioning. So of course you have to like make your move, you know, and knowing that acting doesn't pay anything at first, or not for a while. And so moved to Ohio and got myself settled and established. And there was a open call at a agency that I went to, and after I got interviewed by them, they liked my look, they liked my personality, they liked my background. They're like saying, we'd like to represent you. I'm like, okay. And the rest is pretty much history. So that's how I ended up here. But fortunate for me, I get to still keep flying during my day job. So, and being a life flight pilot is a cool gig. When I tell that to some people, they're like, "What do you do?" And you got to kind of explain to them. They're like, "No shit, really? What's that like?" And that opens up a whole new can of worms right there, or new discussion in itself. So,
It's funny. I feel like acting is one of the few careers that it's like, in spite of people thinking everybody starts out with like, oh, I always wanted to do that. It's one of the few careers where it's either, hey, this sounds like it would be fun, so pursue it. Or in my case, hey, would you be interested in acting? Yeah, what the hell? It just happens, right?
there is no set path for anyone in this business. I mean, I call it business because that's what it is basically. It's like 80% business, 20% entertainment basically. But yeah, everyone's got their own path and how they get there. And you can either be the son or daughter of a celebrity, or you can be just a person off the street. I mean, you just never know. And and depending on which situation you're in, it can be either an easy path for you, or it can be extremely hard. And some people struggle, and some people they don't. I mean, it just depends. So it is what it is.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's funny because in my case, it's like now I've talked to Angela Joseph, who did movies like The Last Stand with Schwarzenegger, and she was in Breaking Bad and all that. And she said, yeah, Jimmy and I just immediately saw the same thing, and that there's something about you, man, that we had to get you into movies. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll do it. I never saw that coming. Nobody.
Right? Yeah, I know. I think too is that I have a lot of experiences to tap into with different things, and my wife always makes fun of me because I tend to be I can be a very emotional guy, especially with some TV shows. She like look at me and goes, "Are you crying?" Because I'll see a scene that just moved me, and all of a sudden I see this tear coming from my eye. I'm just like, "No." She's like, "Uh-huh," and yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, if I see a really good scene and the actors did a hell of a job, and it'll move me, and sometimes I'll come to tears just because of it. But I think I do tend to wear my heart on my sleeve a lot, and just can be an emotional guy. So I think depending on the right type of scene or right type of project, I mean, I can deliver a ton of different variety of emotions that'll fit the bill, whatever's necessary. So it's I've got a good gambit of stuff to fall back on. So I mean, just a matter of time.
I love that too, because I feel like when you see something that brings you to that level, it makes you be like, I want to do this. I want to make people feel that way. I want to be able to sell it so well that I, evoke some kind of, feeling from somebody, some kind of emotion out of somebody. I think that's where the art side kicks in, where it's like, I want to do that. I want to make people sit there and just be overwhelmed because I killed it. You know what I mean? I made them believe what's happening. That's an art.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that's partially, we both probably have that, where when we see something like that, it's like, that's what I want to do. If I'm going to do this, I want to do it to that level kind of deal. I have a weird competitive nature with myself where I'm like, I got to do this to the best of my ability. And I want to outdo what I just saw. I want to make people just uncontrollably feel a certain way. And so, it keeps me going. It keeps me challenging myself, because I'm starting out right now, like I'm just doing like indie stuff. You know what I mean? I'm fully aware of that. But I want to make it look like it's not. I want people to watch that and be like, there's no fucking way that was low budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can totally relate. I've done my fair share of indie stuff, and there's nothing wrong with indie stuff. I mean, it's a good way to cut your teeth in the business. It's a good way to, keep your talent honed in a way. The only problem that I run into sometimes is that, you get people that are on the same project who don't have the same kind of mindset. It's like either their friend just asked them to be in here real quick, or, they don't have that mindset to be a professional actor. So you got to kind of bring more of your A game to compensate for what they don't have, you know. And sometimes you have cast members though that do bring their A game as well, you know, independent projects, and that's awesome. But I think for the most part, you probably don't. People are just still trying, which is great. But I think I'm at a point where I'm ready to like move up to this level where I'm with other like-minded people like yourself, or those who already have their union cards, you know, and they are established professionals, and let's get this on, you know. I mean, let me go toe to toe with, you know, either a good B-list celebrity or even an A-lister, you know. I mean, put me in a room with Tom Hanks. Let me go at it with him, you know, do some improvisation with something, you know, and see how long I can last with him and stuff, you know. I mean, bring it on, you know. I mean, I want to be able to get that chance, you know, just to, I guess, show and prove them that, yeah, you know, I am capable of it, you know. I mean, it's I'm not saying that it's my time or that I'm due it, but I want to get that chance, you know.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I feel the same way where I would jump at, it'll never happen off the bat. I haven't earned it, but I would jump at the chance to be in a movie with a lot of people that have been doing it a long time, because my theory in life, my whole mindset, my philosophy in life is never be the smartest person in the room, because you have nothing to gain from that. I want to be surrounded by people that I can learn from. You know, I want to always have a benefit.
Yeah.
And you know, if I could get that experience from all these people and pick their brain or just watch what they do and take from that, that benefits me more than a bunch of people that don't care or, you know, have nothing to teach me. And to your point, yeah, I view it like optimistically, in the sense of, if I'm surrounded by people that aren't bringing their A game, I'm just going to stand out. If I'm surrounded by people that are bringing it, then this project's going to be benefiting from that. So either way, you know what I mean? It's like we could benefit together, or I stand out and people are like, there's something about that dude. Everybody else kind of, you know, but he looks like he's making this look like it's not indie. Let's get him up here with some people that have that energy, you know. So either way, you can only do what you can do. You can't, you know, you can try to bring in other people, but you can't make them, you know, give their best. So all you can do is worry about, you know, what you're bringing to the table and stand out and, you know, catch someone's eye. But ideally, yeah, I would love to be in a room full of people with way more experience than myself, and you know, really learn from that. And you know, I think being the smartest person in the room never benefits you. It just strokes your ego a little bit, but nothing good comes from that. So I prefer.
No. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. I think I've heard the saying before: if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just learning from the professionals is always great, and there's always something else you can learn from any of the professionals that are up there. I mean, you know, I've watched a ton of videos with Denzel and these other people, you know, and the celebrities' advice, you know, for acting, what they've done, you know, what don't do this and this and that, and it's just like you just pick up on all that, you know. It's like learn from their mistakes, learn from what they've done, and I mean, there's keys for success, you know, and I think, you know, you and I are the same mindset. You know, we're going about this the right way, and just, you know, a matter of time, you know, before where things, you know, can develop, and sky's the limit, really. I mean, it's all mindset. That's really all it comes down to, is mindset, and to keep the positive one going, then you know, good things will come. People can tell. And, you know, I think the most fun I had is I did a 48-hour film project a couple years ago, and it was a comedy project. It was called The Last Donut. And yeah, so the concept is that the object, or the main character of the actual show, was the donut, you know, and everyone wanted to get to the last donut. So we had several cast members, and these are all really good independent actors. They really were. They were top of their games. And my role was a former military guy who works in an office now, but he still has some of that military mentality. I mean, he still wears some of his military uniform, like under his office jacket and stuff like that, you know. And it's just like, and we just spent, you know, the whole 14, 18 hours, you know, one day just filming all the scenes, and we were out there till like 4 o'clock in the morning. We're all tired and stuff, but just, you know, comedy just unleashes, you know, the improvisation that you come out with. You know, you got to stick to lines as much as possible, but you can just do whatever you want to. And I was able to just like get creative and just go nuts. And people were just laughing left and right with some of the stuff that I was doing, and some of the other stuff people were doing too. But you saw the finished product, you're like, man, that was good. That was fun. I mean, we all collectively came together for the greater good, and we actually came in second place. I mean, there was another project, and they said comedy hardly ever wins because it's just so hard to win with comedy. But there was another project there that won. It was called 2 for 20, and I can see why it won. It was really, really good, and and the whole base of that project was that these guys are bringing some money into this crime boss, and he counted the money and said, "Well, you're $20 short. So where is it?" And he was accusing them of stealing or taking it, blah blah blah. So you tell them, you go back and you find the $20 and you bring it back to me. Well, they go out and they see this woman and her daughter walking down the street, and so they're thinking, hey, she's got to have some money. So they try to rob her, basically. When the process of robbing her, they actually end up killing her. And while they're in this whole process, the crime boss is looking through the money again. Well, 2 of the 20s were stuck together. He didn't realize that. And then the twist of the whole story was that the woman that he killed was his wife, who was coming to see him to have a meal.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So it just, like, after you saw the whole end, you're like, oh my God, it was great. I mean, it was a really good story. They did a great job with it. So I can see why it won, but we had still fun doing the comedy.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Is comedy is so subjective because there's so many types of comedy. There's dry humor, then there's like, Jim Carrey level shit. There's like,
Yeah.
Totally off the wall. There's like, I mean, there's a fine line between Jim Carrey and like Will Ferrell. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I've never been that big fan of both of them, honestly.
There's so many types of comedy. There's subtle, then there's out there, then there's a weird in between.
Mm-hmm.
There's ironic comedy where it's like, oh wow, who would have thought, right? Kind of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more broad, I think, so it's harder to win with that because everyone has their own sense of humor.
Yeah, no, I totally can understand that. Yeah, that's true.
There's like clever comedy, then there's people where it's like, oh, that was so stupid it was actually funny. Some people get like a huge kick out of people humiliating themselves and making an idiot of themselves.
Right.
Other people like a little more intelligent comedy. So I mean, it's so subjective that I could see it being extremely hard to win any kind of awards based on how it grabs people. Whereas what you just described, everybody could agree that's pretty unfortunate shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's going to hit you the right way.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Especially it was filmed really well too. I mean, it's amazing what you can do in 48 hours with the right people, the right equipment and a good storyline. I mean, that was the whole key thing right there. So, and those are hard to do, 48-hour projects. I mean, because you really got to, stay in the game for that whole period of time. And then the whole editing process, God forbid, I would never want to do that with that. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. Yeah. Oh,
absolutely. I feel like I've taken up a lot of your damn time, man.
No, it's fine. This is actually my last day before I head to work for my 7-day hitch. So I didn't even discuss what I did for my day job. I guess I can hit on that a little bit. So for those that don't know, my day job is a life flight helicopter pilot. So I'm responsible for making sure that patients get transported in a safe manner from either an accident scene or from a smaller hospital to a larger hospital. And I do basically, it's called 7-day hitch. So I'm on for 7 days. I have 3 days of 12-hour shifts, and then I have followed by 4 night shifts. And luckily for me, the wintertime is not so bad because, we're kind of restricted from winter flying, thankfully. Helicopters cannot, at least the ones we fly, cannot fly into like icing conditions, a lot of snow, a lot of ice and stuff like that. So, we have to turn a lot of transports down because of that. But during the summer around here, it definitely picks up. Unfortunately, COVID did put a damper on stuff when it first started. We couldn't transfer COVID patients because we didn't have any, precautions in place just yet. So they had to kind of like, come together and have meetings and discuss things what other companies were doing and how we're going to solve this and transport COVID patients safely for the crew and everything. So they did get it figured out though. But so yeah, that's what I do. And the night shifts, it's fine until you're asleep because you're not required to stay up for your night shifts. And you're sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings to pick up someone, and it's like, that you're going to be gone for about the next, probably 2 to 3 hours, depending on where they send you. So, um, other than that, it's a unique job. It's a fun job. I mean, I do enjoy the flying. And yeah, so that's my day job. So that pays my bills along with some other things. But I don't consider acting a hobby. I am passionate about it, and I do keep up with it. And but at the same time, I'm not gonna beg and plead for anything. It's like, if I see something I like, I'll apply for it. And if I don't hear back, great. If I do, then give it my best and go from there.
Hell yeah, man. I think my listeners would agree. You're a badass, dude. I mean, to be able to do
No.
I think
No.
it's awesome. You got a hell of a background. You've done so much. You do so much stuff that it's super cool. I love that. That's like someone after my own heart. Keep busy, always doing new things. And
That I do. Yeah. It's I think that comes from spending all this time overseas, where if you're doing something every minute of the day, then your days go by faster. As soon as you're sitting around just kind of twiddling your thumbs, just time just drags on. So that's where I get that from. But it's yeah, I'm grateful for everything that I've experienced and done. Definitely looking forward to seeing what next year brings, and just go from there. Keep flying, keep acting, and see what develops.
hell yeah. I hope we work together someday, man. That'd be cool as hell.
We need to work together. I mean, I like I said, after I read your bio and stuff and the things that you've done, I mean, I can definitely relate to some of your stuff. I work out too. I mean, not as much as you do, or as as much as you do, of course. I am, we are weight restricted by our flying. I can't go over 240 pounds, so I got to watch, how much muscle I can put on and stuff. So it's for me, it's more of a toning thing as opposed to a mass thing. So. But definitely, I think I'd like to pick your brain sometimes as far as what your workout routine is like, because I think I need to mix some stuff up because I'm almost getting stagnant, I think.
Oh yeah, man. I could talk about that forever. So we can. That's for sure. I love that. You get me started on that conversation. That'll last forever, man. I would love to have a conversation about that. I've given so many people like my meal plans that it's helped them lose so much weight. They're like loving it. I train people for free because there's so many personal trainers that charge people a fortune and they give them bad information. They don't train them like they give a shit. They're teaching them things that are not going to get them anywhere. And if they're in there taking their health that seriously, I think that it shouldn't cost them everything they got. They should, my whole thing is, you want me to train you? Absolutely. Just show up and act like you care about yourself. And that's all I require. And I'll train you and I'll give you proper advice. And within 2 weeks, you'll see results start. And
Really, 2 weeks, huh?
every time, because
Wow.
the first 2 weeks, especially, you'll lose water weight, which is the first thing to go. So everyone thinks it's always fat, but it's like a lot of that's water weight, because what people don't realize is that every gram of carbs that you consume holds 2 to 3 grams of water. So if you're a big carb eater and it's not the right ones, especially a lot of bread, stuff like that, terrible stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of bread, when you eat bread, when it digests, it breaks down into complex sugars and processed sugars, which is terrible. So then, of course, it leads to body fat and even a lot of like chicken. Everyone's like, oh, it's so lean, but their diet is so soy based from the grain that estrogen starts to form and create fat stores. So red meat is actually much better. All this worry about cholesterol is nonsense. The cholesterol comes from eating processed red meat from like fast food joints, because of the canola oil being chemical and not natural. The body can't process it because it's not normal. It's not natural. It's a chemical. Canola and vegetable oils are not natural. They're actually a chemical. Canola oil was created in Canada. My apologies. Which is a chemical. The body cannot break that down, and it fries everything, because olive oil, as good as it is for you, has a high smoke point, or a low smoke point, so you can't have it at high temperature. So they use this chemical that you can deep fry everything high temperature. And it's just terrible for you. The body can't process it, so it stores it as fat. It puts your cholesterol up. It hardens the cells for the arteries, and that's why heart disease happens for people that eat too much, McDonald's and all that other garbage. So it's not about the red meat. The red meat, actually, red meat is the only meat that humans can not only survive but thrive off of, because it has so many vitamins and minerals, and you got your creatine in it, your vitamin K, so much stuff in it that's good for you. Um, and the protein levels are extremely high. So if you get a good like lean cut of beef, like I eat top sirloin twice a day, and I'm 265 of muscle, so obviously it's not that bad. I don't eat the fat that's on it.
Right.
I get good fats like fish oils, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But carbs are not the enemy neither. Everyone's going with this keto diet crap, which is only good for like they discovered with Navy SEALs when they use the rebreather. Some people would get seizures, from using a certain type of rebreather. So the keto diet prevented and reduced the seizure activity. My son's condition when he was alive, it came with a lot of seizures, so they put him on a keto diet, and it reduced his seizures drastically until his condition worsened. So it does work, but if you don't have epilepsy or things like that, or a history of seizures, there's no benefit. Your brain needs carbs to function. It's just make sure it's the right type of carbs, like rice, sweet potato, stuff like that.
Interesting.
A lot better for you, but yeah, bread, stuff like that, not good. Pasta.
Yeah, all my favorite stuff, unfortunately, which I mean, I consume in moderation. At least I try to. The job that I have, unfortunately, you're stuck at a base or an office for 12 hours. So you tend to bring your own food. So, I bring as healthy stuff as I can. But, if you get a call or multiple calls, you may be gone for like multiple hours at a time. So there's no set time you can eat unless you have a slow day. So, that's why during my day shifts, obviously I don't exercise because I'm there for, 12 hours during the day, but on my night shifts, I can go to the gym, late morning or early afternoon and get a good, hour and a half workout in. And my off weeks, obviously I can definitely go. And I used to go like every day, but I think now I kind of do it like every other day. And I get kind of, I think I overdo it sometimes. Instead of just doing a single muscle group, I'll do a compound group, and just to, I guess, maximize my time there. And I've been trying to figure out, don't overdo it by doing, too many sets, kind of maybe reduce the amount of sets I do and keep the weight maybe a little bit lower so I can do more reps, just to keep the toning up. But it's like, I think my creativity for the type of exercise is what needs to improve or change, because I'll look around and see what someone's doing. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of like a good exercise. Let me try that. Then I'll go and do that, incorporate that. So I think my biggest problem is I don't have like the set plan in place of, what I should be doing. I just go in there, I guess, just to kind of like stabilize what I have, I guess, essentially.
At the end of the day, the idea that, for growth, especially, is to shock the muscle. You got to hit it with something it's not expecting. So what
Yeah.
I'll do is like, I'll lift a stupid amount of weight and I'll do 10 reps or whatever. But then some days instead, I'll do a lower weight, but I'll do several reps. So that way it's overloading the muscle with reps and endurance training rather than just high weight. So then the muscle's like, what in the hell do you want from me? You know what I mean? First, you want me to do all this damn weight. Now you want me to do all these damn reps. Make up your mind. So then it has to adapt. It has to change. But if you do the same routine every day, it's like, I know what you're doing, so I am not going to change and grow because I can handle this. You got to trick.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that's definitely what I've been doing too. It's just staying, I guess, inside of a comfort zone, because there's no plan. And, I don't want to get one of the Planet Fitness, trainers to go work with me, because I guess because I don't trust whatever they know or what they can do. I mean, especially someone half my age, I'm like, okay, how much knowledge do you actually have in this? What certifications do you have? And I'm very skeptical about them. So.
Yeah, as you should be. I mean, any gym I go into, I'm sorry, but if the personal trainer is like 100 pounds overweight, like, well, what am I going to learn from you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to show my big ass how to work out. You can't even stick to, taking care of yourself.
Right.
So, you better find someone bigger than me if you think I'm going to bother with your trainers. I already know what I'm doing. I've been doing this long enough. Uh,
Yeah.
and their advice is always piss poor and just bad advice. It's all like, conjecture that they got off the internet or a textbook from someone that never worked out a day in their life, but they wrote a book because they think it's science. And, unfortunately, the science that works is so short. You're not going to get a book out of it. You're not going to get a YouTube video with all of these ads and, because it's so lengthy. That's why they perpetuate what sounds good on paper, but it's bullshit because they can sell it to you and make a profit because
Yeah.
it sounds believable, but
Yeah.
it's just not the way it works. Um, and of course, anything you do in the beginning, you're going to see some result, even if it's not the right way, because it's
Yeah.
better than nothing. So
Right.
that's what perpetuates. Oh, well, it started to work, so
Yeah.
it must be true. No, you know.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I don't know. It just I think between like Smith machines and free weights and cables, I mean that's kind of like my go-tos in there. And I just need to guys develop a more detailed plan, of what to do, so I can achieve some maybe some better results. I did have a question for you too. Now that I think about it, there's this guy that goes to the gym that I do, and I see him do this weird stuff. And I'm like, I'm not sure what he's getting out of it though. But so like today, he'll grab like this 45 pound weight that you like use on a Smith machine, basically. He'll hold it up to himself right here, and he'll do like these minuscule movements multiple times, like 25, 30 times, put it down, go walk around for like 10 seconds, then go and do it again and do it like 4 or 5 different times. Now, is there something that he knows that like we don't know about, that that's the proper way to do it, or is this just some kind of like weird thing that he's found, or what's your thoughts on that?
usually the movement is you grab one of those 45 plates, you put it out in front of you, and you turn it like a steering wheel. And what that does is it's for your core strength and your balance. So because everything you do, your core is a part of it. If you're going to do like, shoulder presses, your core has to be strong enough to support that weight as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, everything you do, the core is always brought into it, right? So to do something like that will kind of strengthen your core. But I don't know if he's doing anything else like up and down weird shit. I don't know what maybe he's just got his form off, but
It's like he's doing like these small, minuscule, it's like up and down. He'll do it for like about 25 or 30 times. Not that I've counted, but it looks like a lot. Then he'll put it down, go walk around real quick, come back and do it again. Or if I saw him do today with some dumbbells, he'll hold them and he'll just do the same small movement, like, 25, 30 times. Or if he's doing seated dips or something, the same thing. It's very, very small, minute movement through the whole entire time, but he'll do it multiple times. And it looks strange. I mean, maybe, it works for him because, I mean, he's not a small guy. I mean, he's fairly muscular, but I'm just like, I'm not sure if, that's like proper form for not getting a full contraction, out of the muscle.
yeah, usually, we call those cheat reps. And usually those are best done once you're gassed out, when you've done all the reps you can do properly. And then
Okay.
the idea is sometime under tension, even with a cheat rep, is better than none at all. So you're just kind of gassing out off those fumes and just doing your cheat reps, because you're still putting tension on the muscle, but you're not like, you don't have enough energy to complete a proper, formed rep.
Yeah.
So, it's basically just trying to milk that muscle for all you can get out of it. So sometimes that does look rather bizarre. Now, if he's doing that at the start of his workout, then I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's like the whole workout he does that. I don't think he's doing other things first. I mean, not that I've seen. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just wondering if that's like just total like BS and that he's just wasting his time, or there's something that he can actually get out of that.
Yeah, it's probably not ideal. He might get a little bit out of it, but
Yeah.
again, versus doing nothing, it's still weight. But without
Yeah.
proper form, you're not going to get your benefit that you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
So
No, I totally agree. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Cool. I can definitely pick your brain about that for hours, dude. I'll tell you what.
we definitely need to do that then, man. We could do that. I'm easy to find all over social media and all that shit. So I mean, we could do that anytime. I got so much stuff I could kind of throw your way for you to try out, and let me know how that works out for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, I went there today and I did some combination of some chest press, some standing, leg squats on the Smith machine, and then I think a set of hammer curls, and then I did the fly machine a little bit just to kind of tackle kind of like all three elements basically. I mean, I kept myself to an hour and a half because sometimes I can go in there and next thing you know, 2.5 hours is gone. I'm like, holy crap, and I'm tired, I'm smoked. And, but yeah, I can spend hours in there, but I'm not sure if that really does me any good because obviously I'm not training for some MMA fight or anything, big, any kind of big tournament, but it's like, I just enjoy being in there, and it's a good stress reliever. I don't have to worry about thinking about anything else, and I feel good usually when I leave. So
Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. You're going to hear people talk bullshit about overtraining, and I'm in there 4 hours, when I can. And the only overtraining that exists is if you go into it lifting your ass off, but didn't eat enough beforehand or didn't sleep enough beforehand, injuries can happen. But
okay,
if you have the fuel you need and the rest and everything, and you've given yourself the days of recovery time, because no matter how hard you work a muscle group, 3 days, 72 hours is the top amount that your body will use to repair and recover. And then after that 72 hours, it will not do it anymore. Regardless, it's done building. That's it. So if at most give yourself 3 days before targeting that muscle group again, and then go beat the piss out of it again, and you will get results as long as you're eating enough to build. So I'll go in, I'll do 4 hours. There's a video for the documentary that was made about my life where, like, the pec deck, doing flies. I sit there and I'll do 245 pounds with one arm. I max out the damn machine for like 10 reps, and my producer's like, could you at least make it look like it's challenging to you? You look fucking bored, you know? you know, like us normal people.
That's funny.
What I
Oh.
And I'm sure there'll be somebody that'll be like, that's not the way you do it. I'm like, you're like 80 pounds, bro, and I'm 265. You're gonna tell me what I'm doing ain't the right way because you read
There's
a textbook?
there's always haters out there. I tell you, no matter what's posted, there's always someone that's got something negative to say about something, whether it's a form or whatever, just because their opinion is different. I'm just like, why not just, give it a like or give kudos for what they've done and move on? Why you have to impose a negative opinion on everything? I just, that drives me nuts.
Right. And it's funny to me when it's somebody that clearly is nowhere near your size, and it's like, obviously it works for me. So
Right.
instead of saying because you read in a textbook somewhere that's not the way you do it, that's overtraining, why don't you go try it and see how it works for you? You know what I mean? Instead of, well, I read somewhere, something written by some guy that never picked a weight up in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Some test
Yeah.
tube holding some bitch.
Yeah, I gotta hate those kind of guys, but I mean, there's so much information out there to try to sift through, try to find the right stuff to understand, the right concepts is also, difficult too. But a lot of it is science, science of the body and everything. So
Yeah, that's just it. There's science and there's bro science where it's all bullshit and it makes no sense.
I was reading about, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, in his typical day, and what he does and stuff. And I'm like, it works for him, which is great, but he's got the time and, and money to do all that kind of stuff. You ever heard of a guy from Europe? I think his name's called Mike Thurston. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any of his videos and stuff?
I think I have a few, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
He's different, man. He's different. Own way.
Like, wow, yeah. I showed a picture of him and my wife. She's like, I don't want you looking like that. That's gross. I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah,
So
was steroids.
yeah, that's a level that, I don't have time for measuring food and whatever else he does. I mean, that's his life. That's what he does. So more power to him. But
you can just tell. I know people are like, oh, when someone suggests steroids, it's like, oh, don't be a hater and all this bullshit. It's like, you need to understand the human body only gets so fucking big naturally. no matter how much you eat and lift, it has its limitation. When you take steroids, you are now altering your genetic code and your genetic makeup. And that's when things start going south, because now your organs are affected. And, there's people that
Yeah.
are HGH, human growth hormone, and now they look pregnant even though they have abs, because their organs are growing with their muscle, and they die early because enlarged heart, enlarged kidneys. So if you look at bodybuilders today versus Schwarzenegger's day, there's some cats out there, Google image it, there's like, they got these pregnant dome looking bellies because their intestines, everything are growing from human growth hormone. So the intestines, the organs, everything is growing with the muscle, and eventually they shut down. You know what I mean? So they die early, and I don't
Wow.
I don't get the point. For what?
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I was that fact I'm a pilot, and I'm governed by FAA medical directives. So I'm limited to what I can use. It's got to be natural and everything else. So otherwise, if I get pissed one day and come up hot on something, then potentially lose my job. So definitely don't want that to happen. So I got to be careful about what supplements I use. And I
Absolutely.
remember when I was overseas, we used I did try creatine at one point, and it definitely gave me more power during my workouts. But I think after a while, that tingling sensation was just kind of like you knew it was when you were in the zone for it, but it's just like I think there was too many people that had a downfall with it per se, and I guess the things it could possibly do to you. So I'm like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. But it's that's the other thing. Trying to find the right supplements, that give you the energy you need and are good for you. So,
Yeah, there's better creatine out there now. I don't use the powder, I use capsules.
okay.
There's a brand called Purple K that there's no water retention from it. There's no weird side effect feeling. There's no loading phase where you have to start off with a bunch and then wean off. It's just take it as you need to. Beta alanine is something I love. It gives you a lot of strength, and it's great for fat loss as well. It's got so many benefits health wise, but it's hit or miss with some people. It has no, like, for me, it doesn't really have any effect unless I like large dose it. But with other people, they use even one scoop and they'll get tingles, which is harmless. It's just kind of a reaction where they'll feel tingly, like pins and needles almost, uh,
Yeah.
as the blood flows. Some people love that. Other people that are weirded out by it, I don't even get it. But I love it. It definitely builds more strength. It's beneficial to muscle growth. It's a healthy thing. Your body produces it anyway, just like creatine. Your body produces it anyway. So, it's a beneficial thing to take. Um, but yeah, you're right. Even with supplements, you got to watch what companies do other things and what comes in contact with what they're making, right? So,
Yeah.
I use a brand called Rivalus, which they guarantee there is no banned substances, no traces of it, nothing. So that's a good thing to have, written on their packaging, so that way it's a guarantee. So I stick to that kind of thing. But stuff like that. And, hell, we work together one day, and then we could train together too. Same.
Hey, I'm all about it. Trust me. I was into working out in bodybuilding, since I graduated high school, but I didn't have the time when I was in the military because of my job. It wasn't, where I was at work for 8 hours and got to come home and everything was fine. My job was a little bit different. We had longer hours, a lot like 12 hours sometimes. You come home, you're tired, you don't feel like working out, or if I'm deployed, there was just the job that I had just didn't allow for me to make the time to go and get a regular workout in. So now that I'm retired, I have the time afforded to me. So I enjoy going in there and doing what I can. And, I used to run the treadmill a lot, but now that my my knees are kind of bad, now I have to resort just to using a CrossFit elliptical, and that's how I get my cardio going. And it's less impact for me, but I do get a workout, cardio workout with it. And then it's just a matter of just figuring out the right type of exercise I can do for the groups that I'm working for, and trust me, I'm all about, if I can be there for just 2 hours with the right stuff, then I'm good, I'm fine. And that's where my head is with that. It's not just, well, let's just, go and see what happens. I would go in there with the purpose, to get results. So,
Absolutely. I swear by 3 days a week I do fasted cardio. So the only thing I consume is BCAAs. So that way, branch chain amino acids prevent you from your body, stops your body from breaking muscle down for energy. So what it does when you're fasted cardio is you're doing cardio on an empty stomach. So your body needs energy to do the work. And with BCAAs, they don't take anything from the muscle, so it breaks down fat stores for energy. So you're burning straight fat, and then you're already starting your day off in a caloric deficit. So whatever you eat, you've already burnt that before you consumed it. So it allows for more food to build more muscle, or you could just keep it in a deficit and lose weight, either way.
yeah.
So it's a good benefit. And I do it 3 days a week. If you do too much, I do it an hour each time. If you do too much, your body will actually be counterproductive when it comes to lifting, because you got fast twitch and slow twitch muscles. So when you activate one too much, the other is resisting now lifting weights. It won't be beneficial, or your workouts won't be as good. Or if you do too much cardio, you could actually put yourself into starvation mode, where your body will now hold on to, for self-preservation, it will store food as fat because you're burning too much, and it's worrying. You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything beyond 45 minutes to an hour tops is now counterproductive. So and doing it too much, like during the week, like too many days a week, will start to interfere with leg day, stuff like that, where your body hasn't recovered from the cardio session, and now you're
Yeah.
trying to make it do all this heavy ass weight. So, it's a right balance. I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and just an hour on the treadmill. Even if you're not running, I just put it on a 15 max incline, and you're just burning at a decent speed, and just you're going uphill the whole way for like an hour. And yeah, it torches, calories.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so it works out great. So little tricks, man.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna have to definitely get more in touch with you. I guess on the personal side here with all that kind of stuff, because I'm interested in it, and it's something that I enjoy doing along with everything else. But I think like fitness is one of my top priorities. I'm almost 50. And I like to stay in shape, and now that I have the opportunity to go to the gym as often as I do, I want to definitely make the most out of it. So.
Hell yeah, I'm happy to do that, man. Like we could get into all of that, and trade it off on different things, like whatever. If you find something that works for you, I love
Yeah.
new things and kind of add to my routine. So yeah,
Oh, you can probably outdo me on routines. I'm probably not as creative as you are with some stuff, that's for sure. But yeah, no, maybe there's something I'm just doing wrong. I need to change or adjust so I can get the best benefit out of it. So
yeah, all it is sometimes is the body's so used to what you're gonna do. Like
yeah,
if you start off chest day every day with bench press, and your body knows this shit already. It's like, I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna bench press, then you're gonna go do this, and then you're gonna do this, and it's like,
yeah,
so what I'll do sometimes is I'll do, instead of benching first for chest day, I'll grab some dumbbells and I'll start doing dumbbell presses, and then maybe pull-ups, and then bench, or then pec flies, and then bench, or just
oh,
really
okay,
throw it off, and just kind of trick the muscle into not knowing what the hell I'm going to do next, because the routine gets stale. It doesn't adapt anymore. Like, it doesn't change. It doesn't feel like it's being stressed out. The idea
right,
at the end of the day is stress the muscle out, so it has to be prepared for the next time you do this. So if you always keep it guessing, then it's always going to have to grow and adapt and get stronger to be able to do what you're throwing at it, right? So you basically always want to be challenged, even if it's just more weight. You can do the same routine but just higher weight. Um,
I do that occasionally, especially when I'm doing like a 4 set exercise. It'll be like for bench press, I'll use the 45 on each side to start with, and then I may put on like a 5 on each side for my next set, then a 10 pound on each side for the next one, but then I drop down to the 45s for the fourth one, and maybe knock out 10 reps right there, but then I may take those 45s off and make like a 35 on each side and try to knock those off for like 12 or so, and whether that's right or not, I don't know, but I do feel something out of it when I do it. So
Yeah, I love drop sets where, you do a heavy ass weight, drop it a little bit, keep going, no rest period. By the time you get to 10 pounds, when it feels like it's 100, you've done something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I do love that feeling that you get after it's done. It's like, oh yeah, I can definitely feel I've done that. And for me, I guess trying to build up some decent triceps is something I've always wanted to try to do, and I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm doing something wrong because I don't get the definition that I want with the stuff that I'm doing. So.
Oh man, you said the magic word. I love tricep work.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I max out the damn pull downs and I just, keep going and keep going. And dip work too for tries. Even when you're bench pressing, if you do a close grip, that really relies on the triceps. And so you're targeting them more so than the chest. There's so many different ways. And I love it. So I just beat the piss out of them. And because they're such a large muscle group, you get a blood pump.
Yeah. Do you use ropes on your pull downs?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. All right.
Another thing, I use the ropes for, the French curls. So when you grab, normally you'd have a dumbbell behind your head and it's easier on the elbow joints to use the rope and the cables.
Really?
Yeah, it's less impact on your elbow joints. So you grab the rope and you can even pull it outward as you pull.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I've done that before too with the cable machine, using those for my triceps too. And I didn't know that could be better for you. That makes sense. Sure.
And then you could also stand with your back to it, grab the ropes overhead and pull them forward.
That I do. Yeah. That's the one thing I do. Yeah. And I try to really blast the triceps whenever I go there as much as I can. So
that's just it, right? Hit it from all different angles, even pulling it down and pulling the ropes apart.
Yeah.
Things like that. Then there's the bar. You could just,
I'm not a big fan of the bar. I don't know. I don't think I get a whole lot out of that for some reason.
I don't like the straight bar. I like the one that's kind of curved.
Okay.
And different things like that. And then, there's also lifting heavy or just pumping blood to the muscle and nonstop. Keep that blood pump as long as possible. Work through it. The mistake a lot of people make is that when it starts burning, that's when they stop.
Yeah.
That's when you should be starting to count your reps, because that's when it really matters. That's when it's starting to really do something, because that's under tension and you're stressing out the muscle. Now, like when I start feeling that burn where it's almost too hard to keep going, that's when I'll start counting to 10 reps. You know what I mean? Because by the time you're like, holy shit. And then you're just like, the idea of doing it again is exhausting, but you, you give yourself, 30 seconds to a minute, you go back to it and it's like full of energy again, but it doesn't take long for you to start feeling that burn again. And then you count your reps and it's a world of difference, man.
I bet I can visualize that right now. That even sounds painful.
Oh, it is. But but then you look at your arms and you're like, holy shit, it's like a fucking drunk.
Oh man, that's awesome. Oh.
So yeah, we will definitely have to get in touch and what's the best way for me to find you so we can do that then?
Well, my official website is www.stevehamm.org. That is my official site. It has like my resume on there, my demo reels, all my links to my social media and all that kind of stuff. It's a one-stop shop basically. But I can definitely, of course, I'm not sure if you have my email or not. I can definitely, I think I do. You have mine. Send you that, and I can definitely send you my cell number. We can just keep in touch if you're cool with that, because I would definitely have to pick your brain more about pretty much everything. I mean, I've really enjoyed the conversation here. That's for sure. It's been really enlightening.
Oh hell yeah, it's been a blast. I mean, I could stop this now and then write down your number, give you mine, whichever you prefer.
Sure. That's fine. Whatever.
All right, so then let's wrap this sumbitch up and then we can do that.
So that was Steve Hamm. Sorry for the super long conversation there, man, but sometimes that happens. you get to talking, you kind of mesh with people, and you just get along so well that the conversation doesn't end very abruptly or, very quickly. You don't stay on schedule. That one ended abruptly because it was like, okay, we've already gone long over. So sorry for the abrupt ending, but, he wanted to exchange numbers, and obviously we had to stop recording there because I can't have y'all blowing up the guy's phone. But thanks for listening, man. I hope you liked that guest. He's a pretty cool guy, man. I have nothing but respect for him, and I hope to have him on again. And keep listening because I have a huge guest coming up this month in November, and you guys are definitely going to recognize him. Trust me. One of the biggest shows out there, one of the funniest acts before the show that, hit the 90s. I can't say who just yet. Y'all just gonna have to come back, and I hate to do that to you, but I got some contractual obligations that I'm not sure what I could say just yet, but it's all confirmed. It's happening. I do have to hold on to this show just because it coincides with something they have going on, so I can't give too much away. But check it out. All I can say is it's one funny dude, and you guys are going to laugh. So, just trust me on this. I love y'all, man. I hope you're staying safe out there. Shout out again to Dublin, Ireland. Love you guys. Love all my listeners everywhere, all over the world. Thanks for supporting your boy, for always having my back when people try to screw me, and being patient with me when I disappear for a little while because I'm dealing with those stupid things that shouldn't happen. But it's business. Hollywood, it does happen. So it is what it is. Thanks for supporting your boy and always standing by me, being patient, and just downloading the old stuff until I come back with some new shit. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch your asses later, man.
I will not speak to your smallness, a destruction of the fear in us. I have yet to know what I